So what's up? How was your week?
It's the end of October,
Not
pretty
the
much.
end.
Well, second to
even
last week.
We haven't done Halloween yet. It's 21st.
Halloween's the last day.
Halloween's the
So
last
if you
day.
did do Halloween, you out of October.
I'm not good at holidays. It always creeps up.
Yeah, I don't know. You think there's something in the clocks or something in the water that like
COVID, nigga.
I don't know. But look, say like we don't control the clocks. I don't control the clocks. I just set my clock to whatever it needs to be set to, right?
Okay.
So, but like, do you think that on a minuscule nanosecond, whoever's controlling the clocks, right? Do you think that like
Who's controlling the clocks?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know who's controlling these two clocks, but
Same
do you
people
think
who
that
controlling the stocks.
maybe the clocks are controlling the clocks? But do you think that they're like we can speed up what 1 second is by a half a nanosecond, right? Which translates to time kind of moving a little faster.
Well, yeah, but it.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
but I feel like that's what daylight savings time and shit like that is.
No, I know, but like, yeah, I know, I understand that point. But what I'm saying is, in general, time like a 12-hour day, what once was a 12-hour day is now an 11-hour and 45-minute day.
Okay.
Because when you on a micro level,
but how does it not? How does it not
show up?
Yeah.
No, maybe it's not that draft. Maybe it's minute by minute. Maybe it's like 11:59
until. Like on average,
like
your days
pretty much
become,
every year we lose like 1 minute in a day.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like on the totality of it, on average, yes, you might have a 11-hour, 45-minute day. But every day you have 12 hours.
Well, every day you have 24.
I'm sorry. Hey, listen, man. It's hot in here.
Oh snap! Yeah, I don't know because I was just like, it's odd when everybody is saying, "Yo, time is flying."
No, it is.
But also, what the difference could be is technology and distractions are like literally.
Our world is different.
Yeah, I mean, the more you have to do and be distracted by, the less you focus on time.
Yeah, and I feel like even when we were younger, everybody always said like, "Don't rush to get older because time flies." Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but that's because since day one they've been manipulating the clocks.
Since day one they've been taking these nanoseconds. That's funny.
It's potentially true.
So what's the plan for Halloween? Are you gonna do anything with Phoenix? Have you done anything? What's going on?
Yeah, we've gone to a few different things like pumpkin patches.
Okay, yeah,
Halloween events. And when it comes to trick or treating,
I mean,
yeah, we don't know where we're gonna go.
So you are gonna trick or treat though?
Maybe.
Oh. Maybe.
I think so.
Percentage.
Well, I just thought about this now. Well, maybe Azalea, maybe she can ask one of her girlfriends if they're gonna go trick or treating. Maybe we can all just kind of trick or treat together. Thing? Yeah, that might be cool.
What would make you not want to go trick or treating though?
What would make me not want to go? I never want to go trick or treating. I haven't wanted to go since I was probably 15.
I mean, now that you have a child though.
Oh, I have to walk up to all the doors with her.
Say trick or treat.
I have to trick or treat.
You have to hold the bag open.
Yeah.
Act like you ain't gonna eat the candy when you get home.
I ain't gonna eat it though. I don't eat candy.
Sonny, you've never. Oh my God, you would never eat the candy on Halloween. That used to piss me off.
Why?
And used to do it so deliberately because I'd be like, Sonny, you gonna eat that candy? You'd be like, no. And I'd be like, can I have one? You'd be like, no. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. And that used to piss me off. So every day I'll just go and take one.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't need double candy.
But who are you, bro? Like when we were little, who are you to say?
Who are you
no.
to feel obligated to eat my candy?
Entitled, nigga.
Entitled,
but who are you to tell me that I can't? Like, I would give you a piece of candy if I was gonna eat it.
Look, I have the right to take that whole bag, pour it on the floor, and allow you not to have one. That's my bag.
Man, but yeah. But you also had braces back then, so I don't know if that was the reason why you didn't eat candy, or you just never really been a candy guy.
I don't know why one of my strongest memories of trick-or-treating is pillowcases.
Pillowcases, yeah. We used to always be like, what pillowcase we gonna take?
Yeah.
Don't take my good
Do you remember what your favorite costume is? Or what's your favorite, like being a kid?
No, I don't even remember dressing up, to be honest.
No?
No, I was the type that, like, I'll throw wings on my back and say I'm an angel. Like,
Man. One year I wrapped myself in toilet paper and, like, took a little red pen and, like, put a little... now that I'm looking back on, I think even at the time I was like, this ain't the best. But I remember wrapping myself up in toilet paper and be like, I'm a mummy. It was, like, last minute. And Mom let me. And Mom let me
stop
do
dogging
that.
Mom on this podcast because she started getting sensitive about it.
Look, she said... It's fine. I said, all right. I don't think I could think of anything. Or I didn't know what I wanted to be, or maybe I changed my mind even last minute to go trick or treating. But I just found something. But it was messy. Like, I'm sure they have actual mummy costumes.
You're like leaking. Like you're like leaving.
I'm leaving a trail. And so by the time I was done, I didn't have a costume anymore.
That's pretty
little butt naked black boy running down the street with a sack of candy.
Oh my God, that he ain't gonna eat, man.
He ain't gonna eat.
That's crazy. I think I remember you being an elf. Was that for Halloween or was that?
That was Halloween. Else? That's when I went. I was one of the first Halloweens.
You were an elf with white ears.
I did my buddies. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until right this second.
I had white ears?
Like, you had white ears, bro.
Sounds right. Sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, when
I remember being an angry elf.
Oh.
I was an angry elf.
And how did people know that you were angry?
Because I'm black.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember any costume, anything I've ever really dressed up as.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember I did. I had a cowboy outfit. You remember that? And you found it in my closet and you thought it was something else?
It rings a bell. Where was it? Were we on
it was
Albert?
At the top. It was at the top of the thing in my.
It was hidden?
In the what are those called? The closet. At the top of the closet, and you thought it was Mom's. And you were like, Mom, can I talk to you for a second?
Wait, where were we then?
On Alvern. Well, you kind of lived in like Santa Cruz, really,
Oh.
So you would like come on the weekends and like, and then I'd give up the room again.
Yeah. And I found him in that closet?
You found him in that closet and you were like, Mom, I need to talk to you.
That's funny.
And she was like, what? And then you're like, who's chaps are these? Get this out of my room.
Whose chaps are these? Did you ever end up being a cowgirl? Cowboy? Cowgirl?
I think I did. I think it was when I was at View Park.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about that, man.
But I thought that was the funniest thing. Mom was like, Sonny was like, let me talk to you for a second. You got chaps in my room. What you doing, man?
Why are these in here?
Man?
You dug your own. You dug your own grave.
Nah, but I was thinking. I was like, yo, speaking of us not like living together, because I was like, I don't think a lot of people know that. When we were younger, when we were growing up, we didn't really live in the same house.
We did. It was just a window we didn't.
Well, yeah, that's a huge window.
Up until
I was at View Park. When I was at View Park, you weren't out here. By the time I went to high school.
So we stopped living together when I started middle school. No, high school. We were in Santa Cruz my junior and
Sonny, you went to La Mesa.
Eighth grade. Cause 7th grade we still lived in that apartment. 8th grade, Mom moved back to LA.
Oh, okay.
So 8th grade
8th, 9th,
through
10th, 11th,
and 12.
We had 12 together.
Oh, we had 12 together. So it was 4 years that we didn't live together.
That's a long time. That's like it's like pivotal. It's a pivotal time though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess so.
You're finding yourself. A lot of people didn't believe I had a brother. I remember that. That was like a thing in LA. They were like, "Oh, you talking about that fake brother again?" And then would have to defend me like, "No, he actually killed. No,
he real person.
You cannot stand her. You'd be like, "Oh, she's here again. I'm gonna stay in the room." She loved you though. She was like, "Oh, hi, Sonny."
I was trying to remember. She was
light skinned girl, yeah.
Yeah,
she was
nice.
Like, she had a lot of energy.
Yeah, she was nice.
Yeah, she was really nice, but she was just wild.
She was cool. I forgot about her. Yeah. She's cool. You don't know?
No, I think she went to the army.
Oh,
like military.
You told me that.
Had a daughter.
Yeah, you did tell me all that.
Yeah,
cool. Good for her.
Yeah. I mean, it's no one ever grows up to be who you think or thought they would be.
Well, let's think of some examples.
There's gonna be a whole bunch of beep.
Let me think of some examples.
Nah, because let's just stay in overall sense because we even talked about it. The popular kids in Golden Valley, they're like, right.
Okay.
I wouldn't say the same thing about people in LA. I feel like LA is just so different.
Okay. Because in Santa Clarita, you can only get so big if you stay in Santa Clarita. Whereas if you were in LA, your options are much your exposure to life is much greater in LA than it would be if you just stayed in Santa Clarita.
I agree, and community is different. I think there is no black community in Santa Clarita, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas in LA, it's like, who you going home with today? Mm-hmm. Anybody could take you home. Everybody knows everybody. It was like so. I don't know. It's just a different vibe. And I think that's why I hated Santa Clarita so much. It was just like, ugh, everybody's mean out here. Mm-hmm. Every race hates each other. Mm-hmm. No teacher cares.
Yeah, and it's weird because when you're like in the system, like when you're in the school system and all that, and if you're, unless you came out there right after, well, I wouldn't say, you and I both kind of went out there after coming to school from LA.
You never went to school in LA, Sonny.
Went to Westwood Charter.
Sonny, how old were you?
A Jewish school in Westwood.
Sonny, how old were you?
I went there kindergarten to 5th grade.
So you went to school in LA? I'm saying like.
Yeah, I mean 7 years in the system.
That's different than like.
Are you moving the goalposts?
No, because you were like you. Come on, man.
What?
You can't say going to school in LA till 5th grade is like going to school in LA. That's not the same thing.
I went to school in LA.
All right. You went to school in Westwood. If you're going to say you went to school in LA, just say you went to school in Westwood.
Yeah, you kept choosing to go to these other schools. You went to mine. You were on Crenshaw when I was in Westwood.
See, and that's why I'm woke, nigga. You ain't.
I'm over here trying to get them Jewish dollars.
Listen, and that's what I mean. Like, that school, View Park, I cannot say anything bad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I learned the most there. I learned how to play chess. I learned how to communicate.
Yeah.
I learned how teachers care, how they showed up.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
what was different
basketball
about View Park?
for me,
Was it a
right?
public school?
It was a public school, but it was ran private.
Okay.
So I think the principal was Brian Taylor. He used to be an NBA player. So you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, right? It's like not as legit, but it was ran like a private school. We had to wear uniforms.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like they didn't play about that.
The school was in a parking lot, wasn't it?
Shut your ass up, man. Damn, you was fucked up. Listen, Sonny, again, I learned the most I've ever learned anywhere in that parking lot.
For sure.
God damn it. I became really good at basketball because I played against good people.
It was crossing that Target, right?
It was behind the Taco Bell and across from
It
the
was
Target
behind the
on
Taco
Rodeo.
Bell next to
On
it.
Rodeo.
Yeah.
Because Rodeo's over there.
And Jefferson. Rodeo and Jefferson, right?
It's Rodeo. Rodeo's in Beverly Hills.
Oh, I forgot the
We
little
on Rodeo.
that little swoosh above the O.
We were right by Dorsey. So I don't know if you know where that is.
Dorsey High?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we used to go play our basketball games. We'd have to like walk sometimes.
I remember Dorsey because there was a guy that went to our school. His name was Michael something, but he played football. But he came from Dorsey. And that's the thing. When you're out in Whiteville and like you get you a star player from like the inner city,
Yep.
he stands out like a highlighter.
Man.
And everybody was like, yo, that's so-and-so from Dorsey. That's so-and-so from Dorsey. And he was nice, right? That's the difference though, right? Also with like the skill level.
Everything,
and
yeah.
things.
Everything. I was like, I felt like mom put me back. And I had begged her. I was like, Mom, don't make me go out here. She was like, just try it for 3 days. Because that.
Who you talking about, Santa Clarita?
Yeah, when she was like, you're going to go to Golden Valley with your brother. So it's easier and stuff. And I'm like, nah. Like, and, I'm starting to grow up. So, I was going to have to go to Crenshaw. The other View Park location was on Crenshaw. So it was like, and I went to like the summer school a little bit. I kind of got in a little trouble. So she was like, you ain't going to do this shit. You about to be a blood in a second crib. Like, you about to be hoobanging.
Yeah, you over here hoobanging. Oh,
she
God.
said these uniforms ain't going to do shit for you.
Transfer you.
So yeah,
50 miles north.
I begged her. I was like, Mom, please. And she's like, just go for 3 days. And then if those 3 days don't work, you can go back. And I remember I was like, all right, 3 days is up. I ain't going. She was like, you ain't going back to View Park?
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of just gave up.
Yeah. Gave up what?
Everything. Because like everything
Gave up on
is
school?
different. Sonny, the teachers there used to take me to lunch. They used to sit down and talk to me. Like,
Is View Park still around?
Yeah, it's still around. Still on Crenshaw.
I don't know why Umar didn't try to just make View Park into something
I don't know why you gotta
bigger.
do this to me.
Where's Umar when you need him?
Sonny, he's getting married right now.
He needs to put a cape on and a pimp hat.
A pimp hat.
Yeah.
Wow. You go against everything he goes. I mean, you going for everything he goes against.
But I think behind closed doors, I don't know, man. I don't know that man.
Look. Yeah, I'm like you running down a slippery slope,
yeah,
brother.
I'm not messing with Umar.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I wish
He
I
is
would've-
entertaining though. I give him that.
Yeah. Did you? A lot's happened this week, kind of in the entertainment world, and I know we kind of.
Yeah, let's.
Dave
so let's
Chappelle,
talk about
the closer. Dave Chappelle, the closer. Have you checked it out?
Yeah, I've watched it 1.5 times.
Okay. And you enjoyed it?
Yeah. What's my star rating? 1 out of 5?
Sure.
I give it a 4.5.
Good.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
quality. It's quality. It's
Quality.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Like, I don't expect to roll over holding my stomach laughing. I think what the message and perspective is. But there's comedy mixed inside of like the messaging and his. I'm just like, all you're doing is like listening. You're inside of someone else's head, right?
Yeah.
Basically, and so he has a human's perspective on all the
How he's interpreting the world.
on how he interprets the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of hoopla around it, but I would have given it like a 4.7.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought all his points were legit.
Yeah.
I think that it takes an intellect and it takes a not so sensitive person to watch his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're able to separate yourself from it, then you can get all the gold. But you can't.
And sorry to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead. No, that was it.
And I believe that there's two groups of people that watch Dave Chappelle.
Right.
I think there is the people that have watched For What It's Worth, Killing Me Softly.
A legit old school fan, grew up with Chappelle show, and then saw this one. And then I think there's a group of people who maybe just saw this one, or even maybe just saw his last 2 on Netflix, where that's when he started they all started coming for him, really. Yeah, or heard the controversy already.
Yeah, they just don't have I don't think they have a history with Chappelle.
Okay.
And I think those are also the same ones that are like, this man is this, he's this, he's this, and he's this.
He's
Get rid of him.
Transphobic, homophobic, he's all this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, whether some of his jokes went crossed the line, that's what comedy is. I feel like, anyways, like, let's even think about Eddie Murphy. He used the F word like 17 times in that. I don't remember what the name of it was. But, like, I'm black first. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So when I'm watching this, I'm hearing the black stuff first. Like, none of that other stuff really offends me. I get what he's trying to say. And if you just get to the end part, you realize, like, there is no phobia in that. You know what I mean? It's just like black love and like black first. Yeah. And black awareness. So
and people have the right to, if people are offended, they have the right to feel offended.
Right.
But I just think that to attack him and be like, oh, he's labeled, I label him as this because I feel like this.
Right. That's not fair.
No.
And you don't have to watch it.
You don't have to watch it.
You do not have to watch it.
And I'm sure a lot of people subscribed to Netflix just to watch, to feel whatever they felt.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's like people watched it to get upset. And I was like, well, if you thought you were going to get upset, why you watch it? If you already heard he was talking about this type of stuff and you aren't into that, then why did you watch it?
I mean, just recently, the Netflix CEO, he put out a statement saying, yeah, and this is post the person, the transgender person being fired. And so he was just like, we're sorry you're offended that Chappelle's on there, but we do sometimes put content out there that is hurtful to some people, but we're not going to silence or dismiss him because you feel this way. Yeah. And he also was like, I don't know if you guys remember that show, that kid show where everyone was mad about the cheerleaders, Cutie Pie. He was like, so what? I mean, it's all the same. Right? It's like we share that content, although we know it's going to upset people. We share this content, although it's going to upset people.
I mean, that content is a little different than this content, but yes,
100%. But they're saying that they're keeping consistent.
Right. Creative expression.
Yeah, they're like, some stuff may be hurtful or harmful to some people, but it's not crossing that line of, you're not putting blatant.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. But I also was like, as a business perspective, let's take all the phobias out of it, right, and all the controversy out of it. Business perspective. This did nothing but grow Netflix. Exactly. It did nothing but bring more awareness. It did nothing but
strengthen their brand.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, they can say, we're keeping him on. I don't care. He can say the N-word all he wants, or he can use these derogatory statements all he wants, because they're not beholden to any advertisers. No. You know what I'm saying? There's no Netflix commercials out there. Maybe, but I'm saying, okay, yeah. So, like, they don't have to answer anybody but themselves.
At all. And, I mean... Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Because that's what usually gets someone pulled off TV. It's like, oh, all right, well, we're not getting these ads anymore because our sponsors.
They don't need no one. They're leading the game right now, regardless.
Yeah.
But also, it's a coincidence that it came out right around the time that Squid Games was like starting to blow up. You know what I mean? So it was like two things at the same time getting the most attention. Yeah. One in a negative, one in a positive. But I thought both were great.
Yeah. Netflix earnings are gonna be strong next quarter.
Sonny.
Yeah, heads up.
Because one of the people that got a lot of people were talking about this black woman that was pregnant that got fired and she shouldn't have got fired. But also, like, I don't know if y'all did y'all research, but like, she released documents and information on the closer. Oh,
like stats and stuff.
Stats,
right? Yeah.
Because okay, so this is what I was explained to. You know how on TV they have the Nielsen that kind of like keeps track of who's watching, how long, and all of that stuff. Well, streaming doesn't have that yet. So with that, Netflix has a
database?
Level up.
Oh, okay.
What is that called?
Advantage.
An advantage, right? You don't know what is working for them and what's not. right? And that person, that specific woman, leaked that information, those documents to Bloomberg, right? Like, you can't do that. So I need people to stop making it like Netflix is against black women, Netflix is against trans. It's like, no, let's just be clear. Netflix hired that trans person they fired.
Right, 100%.
You can't. That's not fair. You can't say, "Oh, you can hire me, but you can't fire me."
Right.
That's crazy. So, I mean, again, I'm with it all.
100%.
If you ain't watched Squid Games, watch Squid Games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That shit is good.
You think there's gonna be a second one?
Has to be.
Because of the ending?
Sonny, he did not.
And it's 2 in the band.
I can't. No spoilers, but
yeah, no, I get.
He turned around at the end.
That's what I'm saying.
So
still a shitty dad. Still going back to the.
Don't do that.
Still
to
going
him,
back
man.
to them Squid Games.
Listen.
Look, all I know is
we can't.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. No.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All I'm saying is, homeboy said, "I'm doing all this for my daughter, a better life for my daughter.
Dude,
this is all for her." Then the last 30 seconds of the show, he has the opportunity set in motion to go spend his life with his daughter.
He doesn't get on the plane.
He's walking onto the plane and decides, nah.
Squid Games is it.
I'm playing this game again. You know why? Because I'm a gambler.
Wait, Sonny, the craziest part is someone you met in Squid Games, you took care of her brother. Not even your kid. You made sure her brother, other people's families got taken care of except for your own. You came back to a dead mother.
It's a good point.
And you still didn't make, and all she wanted was for you to be a good father, and you still couldn't do that. So it just lets you know it's deeper than money. I thought that's what the whole show was about. I thought that's what it was about. It's deeper than money. Money doesn't make you happy.
Money isn't, right.
He got that whole shit and didn't spend it.
He's like, because.
Help me, I'm poor.
Why didn't he spend it?
He was depressed. Everybody died.
Because of what you went through.
How many people died on? He watched like 500 people die, bro.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
And it's like, no matter how you try to separate yourself from it, at some point, your own manipulation led to the elimination of someone else.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was crazy. All right, there was like 6 games, right?
I would think so. I don't remember.
Do you think you could have done all those games? Is there any game you're like, no?
Oh, yeah.
I would have died.
Yeah, you know the hardest game?
When you jumping on the glass?
No.
Oh,
That's what Azalea said.
Okay.
But no, for me, the hardest one was be that damn cookie, cutting out that cookie. Because I feel like because you can try as hard as you want, you could bend it. You might just bend it a little too hard, and you snap off a little tiny piece of your umbrella. That
cookie could have not been made levelly.
Boom.
Like made at a level and just.
Yeah, like that game, like there was legit like no advantage to. I mean, like it was an even playing field. Like it didn't matter if you were big, small, dumb, or smart.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can carve this out, you can live.
You can live.
But homegirl had that little lighter. Oh, she's my favorite.
Yeah, she was
crazy lady.
Yeah, she was legit.
Yeah, she was legit. But yeah, I think that the show is relative to a lot of people. Yeah. Right? Like the decisions that you make when it comes down to like desperation. I think that's why it's doing so well because so many people can relate to the characters. Like there's a lot of characters in there that I'm sure different people identify with. Some people probably identify with that lunatic gangster in there.
You know who I felt the worst for?
Indian, the Pakistani man.
Nope. The husband and the wife. When he had to kill his wife.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, that right there.
Tough. It was tough. I was like, that sucked. And there was the marbles game, too. They had to play against each other. Yeah.
I mean, to pick your partner. You have to make a decision.
That was a tough
partner.
That was an emotional episode.
And all they tried to do was stay together the whole entire game.
Yeah. Because remember, if they just didn't pick each other for that one.
If they just didn't pick each other, they could have possibly.
Because you still don't know.
Because they could have both ended up dead, really.
Yeah. But, well, they did both end up dead in the end.
Well, he chose his ending.
He's like, look, baby.
Yeah. What I also thought that was interesting is like, I've never seen so much, suicide in a show before. And I don't know if that's like Korean culture or not. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Who committed suicide?
Everybody. Everybody. I feel like a lot of people, or they alluded to suicide.
At what point? When?
He killed himself after he killed his wife. He was like, I can't do this. He's like, are you okay? You guys are going to do this? They're like, yeah, man, whatever. Go sit down. And then he ended up hanging himself.
Okay, he killed himself. The guy at the end killed himself.
He also was going to kill himself in the bathtub until someone came.
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of that. energy.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, that's interesting because
Yeah.
U.S. doesn't do that. We don't really we don't play with suicide.
No, the show was stressful. That's the best word I can use. Like,
Yeah.
the show stresses you out.
Exactly.
You're just like, whew.
It's a lot to think about.
Didn't see that coming. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's great, lovely, amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna start looking into more Korean shows and movies because you saw Parasite before, yeah?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, Parasite was the first Korean film I've ever seen. Korean entertainment thing I've ever seen. It blew me away. I was like, whoa! It was full of twists, like this was.
Okay.
It was like mind trippy,
Okay.
right? It's not horror. It's not scary.
Oh, it's not scary. That's why I didn't wear it. I mean, watch it.
No, it's just like someone gets killed, or like you trying to figure stuff out, but
Yeah.
like it's not a horror film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like that got my interest, and I was like, that's when I heard Korean games, Squid Games was Korean.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, and then I heard it was doing well. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta see it because I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's plenty of films and shows
The
out
number
there like this.
one Netflix series ever
In history, right?
in history.
Yeah. What was behind it? Would you say? What took its place? Or what place it took? What show before this one was as big?
We won't know.
Oh, Tiger King. Remember Tiger King was like
Tiger King wasn't number one.
I feel like it had to have been the best streaming show for it. It kind of yeah. I would say Tiger King was up until this point was probably the most streamed show on Netflix.
Let's see if it gives.
Most streamed show on Netflix?
See, and that's the thing. See, goes back to the Nielsen's and like the statistics. You don't know.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
It's what they want you to watch, what they throw on the populars. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is it really popular, or are you just trying to get more views on it?
Right.
So only the recoup.
Only the very few people know, like, because they're saying even people that do stand-ups, they don't tell you how well your stand-up is doing.
Right.
But I'm sure if you're a Chappelle,
I'm sure if they call you back, that means you did well.
Or I'm sure if you're like, let's just use like Chappelle as an example. He's like, okay, yeah, we can do this show, but I would like to know my stats. Like, yeah, we can, like if you want me, I'll release my stand-up on your platform, but I would like to know what my stats are.
And put that in his contract.
I think certain people have enough leverage to say, I want to know my stats.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah. I feel like, and I'm sure the CEO of Netflix is probably his homie. You know?
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised. Right. Doing those kind of deals?
Sonny, come on. Okay, this goes back to something, too. They say the top profitable people in stocks is public, what do they call, like public representatives, like government officials.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. People that are tied into it all. So though you're not supposed to, what is it called? Trading, what is that called? Inside trade.
Mm-hmm. They still do it.
Yeah, man. They make the rules. I mean, I'm sure there's like a lot of rules that do try to prevent it, but when you got $1 billion or $1 trillion, you can.
And you got people just working for you. It's not like it's their company.
No, 100%.
They don't care.
100%.
And what do you think all these everybody works for in the same industry, just different companies. They'll leave Disney and go to, one of them other ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was talking to my friend's uncle, who I've known for a really long time. I never even knew what he does.
Okay.
I've known him for almost 2 decades. And I always see him, but don't know what he does. And I'm just like, all right. And then just recently I was with him. And then we started talking about stocks. And then come to find out, that's what he does. He's a stock guy. He's been one for like 50-something years. And like he's heavily invested in stocks. And so he started breaking down. He's like, man, one thing that this Robinhood and like all these new investors that are coming in, he's like, one thing that is showing is how manipulated the market is. He's like, I've been doing this for decades. And he's like, now it's like public information how manipulated the stock market is. And he like broke down like how he's been tracking such and such. And he's like, this one company I'll watch. He's like, I don't know if you heard of a dark pool. A dark pool is like all the trading that happens, but not on the stock exchange.
Right.
Right.
Like through hedge and stuff like that.
Yeah, like these investment firms do a lot of their trading in the dark pool, right? So that way it doesn't necessarily manipulate. It doesn't affect the market the same. And so one thing he told me was, for example, he was saying he does a lot of reading. So he found out that one company was going to be acquired by another company. So he bought like 30,000 shares. And within like, the short time period, the acquisition went through and his return was like 100+%. So he then tried to sell those 30,000 shares, But the brokerage was like, you can't sell all 30,000 because you're going to affect the market price. You're going to affect the market. And so he then had to offload them 1,000 at a time, 5,000 at a time. So literally,
that's crazy.
The brokerage because this is before Robinhood and all that. So you have to call and do it all. He's like, they were like, sir, we can't allow you to because you'll bring the price down. You'll drop the price. And so he's like, well, that's crazy.
I should be able to do whatever I want. That's not my problem. How the price holds.
Yeah.
But I just looked up dark pool just for people to know, I guess. It says the dark pools are private exchanges for trading securities that are not accessible by investing public, also known as dark pools or liquidity. Liquidity.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. So if you're an investor who happens to know someone, you can invest in a company that's not necessarily on the market, I guess. Right. Or is on the market, but it doesn't get reported to the stock exchange so that it doesn't necessarily. Oh, so Ed was kind of breaking this down to me, actually. I saw him, and he was. Because I started talking to him about it, and he's like, so think about AMC. He's like, who do you know, like, as when you mention AMC, everyone's buying in AMC, right? Because they know what it's to the moon. So he's like, why over the last, say, month, is there an influx? There's an influx of purchase of orders, not an influx of sales. He's like, so how has the price gone down? Right? He's like, how has the price gone down? And it doesn't make any sense. And so I was like, okay. So he's like, what happens is, he started talking about these dark pools. He's like, when people are selling the stock, that gets reported on the stock exchange, which drives the price down. But when people are buying all these stocks, it doesn't. So he's like, well, he explained. So he's like, we buy from Robinhood. We buy stocks on like Robinhood. Robinhood then sells those to like a Citadel. And then the Citadel, because what should happen is we should buy through Robinhood, and it should go directly to the company. Right. But what happens is we buy from Robinhood, and Robinhood then sells those to Citadel, and they sit somewhere, not on the stock exchange. So all the buying pressure that should be in there is not, because all those shares that people are buying, they're just holding. So that's why when you look at the charts, everything's red, and every now and then you might get some green, because he says every 30 to 35 days, people have to go looking like those shares have to be found. Right. Because there's transaction history, so those things have to be found. So he's like, every now and then that's why you'll see a spike in AMC, because they found those shares. But he's like, the manipulation is crazy. I was like, oh, like it's all clicking.
Or else these hedge funds would be done.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. He's like, dude,
they can't cover it.
No, he said, do you know how bad it could be if they all had to, like, people, if they were all margin called right now? And so he's like, the manipulation is just wild how it all works. And like, so when I told him what I was telling him, he's like, oh, it made more sense for him. And then him telling me, I was like, that makes sense for what I'm talking about. Right. But it's just so many like levels to this that you'll never even know at the end of the day. Because I don't know what the shares are. Because his uncle was saying that when you buy shares on like a Robinhood or a TD Ameritrade or Webull, you don't actually own the share. You don't own the stock. Right. So he's like, but there's a new app that's been created where a lot of people are moving their shares to. So like they'll sell whatever they have on Robinhood, but then you buy them on this app and you actually own the stock. Yeah. So he's like, you may want to look into doing that.
Because I remember that was the problem with Dogecoin and Bitcoin. Cryptos, we were doing cryptos, on Robinhood. It was like, you don't own these. Yeah. And once I realized that and did a little bit, I was like, oh yeah. And I went straight to Webull. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I'll do options and stuff on Robinhood, but like I'm not. Out here doing it.
Yeah. Cause I was like,
let's say they just decide, you know what, fuck it. I don't know. Robinhood has done a lot of shady stuff in the last year. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's not beneath them to do something like that.
No, and they have an explanation for everything.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I was like, man, that's deep.
Yeah. Moving right along, guys. With your favorite host, Chelsea, with my favorite co-host,
Lisani.
And tippity tip tap in, baby.
Let me sing us out the episode.